Let's move to the writing tips, as I was saying earlier. So the first tip I would give is that have fun with chapter titles. Make them interesting. Why? Because if you focus on the titles, chapter titles, trust me, they can convey a story on their own. For example, I tell you, like the first in the book, the first book in the series is The Girl Who Could Not Sleep. There are 2 chapters in there, okay, and I put the chapter titles as Salt and Pepper. Salt, pepper, these are the worldwide known combination. If there is salt, there is pepper on the table, right? The chapter titles do not have to be related anywhere to the content of the chapter. You can just put it, you can just create a theme of your chapter titles, and that's how you can add, a spice, a different kind of story to your, to the chapters. The second story was Nakedness. There were 7 chapters in Nakedness, and I based all chapters onto the name of rainbow colors: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. The biggest benefit of doing a chapter title theme is like whenever the reader, or even you yourself as a writer, you are seeing those chapters into the index portion, onto the index page, you are able to see the magic they create there. Like when you see the 7 colors of rainbow put there together, it gives you a very different, nice feeling. I have my readers tell me that they love this, chapter title thing. The third was Hope. H.O.P.E. The title goes like this, Hope. And there are 4 chapters in this book, and the chapter was based on this. First chapter was Hold, second was On, third was Pain, fourth was Ends. So if you see this chapter titles in the index, you will see that Hold, On, Pain, Ends. So the chapter titles, they are actually describing the name of the story. So this is how I related my cover and the chapter titles. See, you can have so much fun with the titles. For On the Run, I actually, in the form of chapter titles, I gave away the recipe of my tea. As I said, I'm in love with the Indian traditional milk masala tea. I gave away, there were chapters, and I gave away the recipe. I put each chapter with the title of one spice, like fire, milk, water, tea leaves, cloves, cardamom, pepper, cinnamon. And for the epilogue, I did not just put it as an epilogue. I put it as Sugar Please. See, you can make it unique because if you're a writer, you are creative. For the 5th one, Deep Pen, there are 5 chapters in that story. So what 5 elements, where you can find 5 elements put together tightly in the 5 element that we see around, which is earth, sky, fire, water, and air. These are the chapters of the titles of the chapter in the previous story, Deep Pen, in the series. Now for the Box of Cookies, of course, there are 9 chapters into it. 9 chapters. So can you imagine 9, where you can find 9 things, together, which everyone can relate to, whether it is a child or an adult. It does not matter, whoever it is, they can relate to. 9 planets. Yes, my chapters in Box of Cookies are titled as, they are based on 9 planets, and in the series, closest to the sun, Earth, then Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. The piece I read from the chapter, it was from Mars. See how much you can have fun with having your own, creating chapter titles. When you are doing a self-publishing thing like on Kindle, then you have a complete freedom. But I don't believe that even if you are getting traditionally published and you are, proffering this idea to your publisher, I don't think they are going to deny it, because this is the added benefit. It adds a charm to the story. So try this thing. Have fun with the chapter titles, okay? And if you come up with something new, just let me know how do you do it, okay? Now we come down to the second tip. My second tip of writing short stories is introduce some music into your chapters. I repeat, introduce some music into your chapters. And now you must be thinking, Priyanka, just because you are a guitarist, it does not mean that you can bring your music into the chapter, into the writing. It is just not possible. Well, let me tell you, my friend, that it is entirely possible. Music comes in all the forms. In writing, how you can deploy it, let me tell you. Imagine you are doing a marathon, okay, and if you keep doing it, if you are just doing a marathon for a long time and if you're not stopping at all, would that be beneficial? Would you be motivated to do marathons in the future? Not at all. You need to have a stop station. You need to have some pause, right? So by having mentioned that introducing music to your chapters, what I mean is, do not keep your chapters in your short stories or even in any other writing format very long chapters or very short chapters. Keep some of the chapters long, like if it is a short story, then you can say like 4 pages, 5 pages, 6 maybe. But keep some of the chapters short, like 2 pages, like 3 pages. Like as I said, I am reading Frankenstein by Dean Koontz currently, and this author, this book had very short chapters, and you can finish it in a minute or two. And whenever you finish a chapter, it actually makes you feel accomplished, that yes, I have finished this chapter. So I guess I'm currently on 40th or 41st chapter. I am something like that. So this is how you introduce music into the writing. Create a balance, like one long chapter, then one long chapter, then 2 short chapters, or two short chapters and then 1 long chapter. Give your reader a moment to breathe. Just it also goes with writing sentences as well. As a writer, it is not advisable to keep writing long sentences. Do you know that basically only 24 words per sentence should be written? But of course, it is a flexible thing, how long you want to go for a sentence. So if you keep writing long sentences, your reader will not have the time to breathe. He will not have the time to pause and think. So after some time, his brain will get foggy, it will get confused. Even the simplest of things will stop making sense. So that is why it is always advisable in the writing that always write long sentences and then punctuate them, follow them up with short sentences, so that your reader gets some room to understand the things, to breathe, to have a stop station there. The same thing you can apply to the chapters as well. For chapters, keep them the mix of long as well as short. Give your reader a reason to breathe, a moment to breathe. And let me tell you one more thing about this fact, about this tip, that your reader will not be aware of this thing, that he's being relaxed, he's being given the stop station. But subconsciously, he's feeling relaxed when he's reading your story. And that only works in your favor. How? Because next time, since your reader is subconsciously relaxed while reading your story, he will definitely come back for more later on. So this is how this thing works. This is how you can introduce music into the chapters. So second tip for writing short stories was to introduce music into the chapters. And now we are here for the third and the last tip, which I believe is the most important of in these three. So the final tip for writing short stories is that you have to jump straight to the plot twist or the trouble, whatever you say. You have to jump straight into it. For novel, we have the luxury, we have the space for drawing the background in the initial few chapters, like introducing the plot, the place. We are also free to describe what is the weather like, and introducing the characters, the protagonist, the antagonist, or we deal with, usually in novels, we deal with setting up a background in the initial chapters. Then the middle portion of a novel, it actually deals with the plot twist, where the protagonist is into trouble. And then the rest of the novels goes on identifying, recognizing how the protagonist is dealing with it and how the antagonist and the circumstances are making it impossible, but at the end how protagonist is finally done with the trouble. Okay, so this is the novel format: background, plot twist, the end. But in the short stories, you do not have the luxury of space on the paper. As I said, a short story has a very limited number of word counts, which is 7,500. So in 7,500, you have to straight jump into the plot twist. You have to forget about the background. You cannot talk about the unnecessary things like there was rain happening, there was a rainbow there. Unless you are introducing a unicorn riding the rainbow, there is no point in adding unnecessary details. Trust me, I have been editing my short stories, I have been editing my novels, and I mean, it's a huge tip, it's a huge relief to see like how many words you can simply cut off. So for writing short stories, you simply have to jump straight into the plot twist. For example, if I talk about my third book, Hope, H-O-P, Hope, the protagonist, there are two main characters. First is Pia Saran. Okay, she's a 15-year-old girl, and another is Mohan Bhargav. He is about 45 years old. And in that first chapter, on that first page, you are seeing Mohan Bhargav standing on the bridge, ready to jump, ready to commit suicide. And then Pia comes into the picture and how she saves him. So this is how you immediately jump into the plot twist. You immediately have to make your reader hooked into the story so that he can go on till the end. So friends, these were my 3 tips of writing short stories. First was have fun with chapter titles, make them interesting, shoot your own creativity there. Second was introduce music to the chapters. All right, keep chapters long and short, keep a mix of both. And third, and I guess the most effective, is that dive straight into the plot twist and then show the reader how the protagonist is dealing with it. Okay, so this is how you can write a short story. Which by the way, which tip did you like the most? Which tip do you think that is working for you, which you are going to deploy into a story? Just let me know. So everyone, thank you so much for joining. I'm so grateful that you took some time out of your busy schedule on Sunday, and I'm so happy that my book is out. Please go there, buy it on Amazon. It is available on a very reasonable price because I feel that good stories, short stories should be available on a very reasonable price, neither too cheap, not too expensive. Okay, it's somewhere in the middle. That's why it's very reasonable. Go there and like my if you read like my stories, then let me know. Please drop reviews on Amazon. It will help me a lot to gain the visibility into my field. And thank you so much for joining, and I will see you maybe soon in the future for the next live session. Thank you so much, and have a nice evening or have a good day, whatever. Okay, so I need to find how to